So since Broly has released and people classify DKP as a god tier above all the non-Zenkai characters in the game, Jesus Christ himself in fucking King Piccolo form, I want to talk about Broly. Now Broly is probably the most underwhelming that could have been overwhelming character since, as you see in the thumbnail, PIKKON. Now PIKKON was memed because it's fucking PIKKON. No game has PIKKON seriously good, amazing, god tier, anything. He's just PIKKON. Like, nobody cares. But Broly is mid. Now, if we go over Broly's kit, we're going to compare it to PIKKON. Then we're going to compare it to some other units that were also mid that could have been a lot better, that were expected to be a lot better. So, Broly, and side note, I'm going to preface this. Typically in games like these, gachas, the hype characters will have mediocre kits, like the hype character himself. Super Saiyan Broly in Japanese culture is hype. PIKKON is not hype. So you would expect PIKKON to have a really good kit to have people summon for him. Now I'll explain why that didn't happen. But Broly, hype character, DKP hype character, one of them had hype, one of them didn't in kit. Broly is the one that didn't. Now Broly, go over his details, his abilities. Main ability, draw Ultimate Arts card, Gigantic Explosion, next. Restores his own key by 50, plus 20% damage inflicted, cannot be cancelled. Mediocre, you know? D ability is Powerful Opponent Health, whatever. It could have been movies and Powerful Opponent, something. Again, mediocre. Tyrannical Power, plus 30% damage inflicted against tagged Sun family, cannot be cancelled. Plus only affects itself when this character enters the battlefield. Plus 60% damage inflicted, cannot be stacked. Reduce damage received by 20% for 15 timer counts. Gradually restores health each timer count for 60 timer counts. Minus 5 to strike and blast arts cost for 10 timer counts. Plus 20% to ultimate damage inflicted every time this character uses strike arts, up to 80%. Flow of Power. Gain attribute upgrade minus 30% to enemy sustained damage cut effects when battle starts, cannot be cancelled. Reduce damage received by 30% until combo ends when changing cover. Knock the enemy back to long range if a cover change is performed against their strike arts attack. So, I've used Broly in a couple videos. We used him on Super Saiyans. He did alright. Used him on Powerful Opponent with DKP. Did shitty. I think I used him on movies. If not, regardless, he would have done shitty. Broly is only existent for Super Saiyan buffs. I did that yellow, blue. Or blue, yellow with LF Broly, this guy. And Bardock with Zenkai Frieza buffing him. Broly did good there. He sustained. He did well. But Broly is just mid. You see his kit. You read this again. And 20% damage. That's what he got on this. Okay. That's great. I know characters that get like 100% on their ultimate. But regardless, 30% Sun family. It should have just been to, I don't know, Saiyan and Hybrid Saiyans. Because that's what he fights, Broly. Broly from Z only fights Saiyans and Hybrid Saiyans, really. So, it should have just been to Saiyans and Hybrid Saiyans, make it more vast. The 6% damage inflicted cannot be stacked, sure, it's whatever. That's like his only good, I guess. The ultimate build-up could have been up to like 120%. His ultimate does hit the hardest thing that he owns, thankfully, because it needs to. It should have been up to 100%, maybe even a little more. Actually, I believe it's an AoE. Yeah, it's an AoE, so it hits everyone. It should have been up to 120%. I think, not sure, I'm not even going to check. I'm going off the top of my head. The Green Golden Frieza has a higher buff on his ultimate than this Broly does. So, and that guy's from First Anniversary. So, and it's an AoE. And then the other part of him, his knockback doesn't chain. It's like UI Goku, but yet UI Goku has a full fucking gauge of Vanish plus his own Vanish on top of him covering both Strike and Blast. It makes sense he doesn't chain, right? Broly has none of that, but he doesn't chain into a blue card. That's ridiculous. That's stupid. That's the stupidest thing they could have done with him. They made him trash because he's a hype character and people more summon for DKP if they were going to summon on this banner. Also to buff Powerful Opponent, because Powerful Opponent's a up-and-coming fun tag in this game. Now, PIKKON. You can't compare their kits. They're not the same kits, but you could see the weaknesses in their kits together, and I'll go over that. Let's just go after transformation. Not gonna bullshit around with PIKKON. And the stats don't matter for these characters. They're just not good. Okay, main ability. I'm ending this fight. Inflicts enemy with attribute downgrade plus 30% to damage received. Inflicts enemy with attribute downgrade plus 10 to special arts cost. Cancels attribute upgrades. Cancel upgrades is good. The other two can be nullified just if they're a specific character. Z ability, red and green, blast attack and defense. Pretty vast, so not terrible. Better than Broly's, I think. Unreadable movements. Applies falling effect itself when this character evades an enemy attack with a vanishing step. Restores ki by 40. 50% to vanish gauge recovery for 5 timer counts. Okay. True power. The following effects occur when this character enters the battlefield or transforms. Draw a special arts card next. Activates twice. Plus 40% to damage inflicted for 15 timer counts. Inflicts enemy with attribute downgrade plus 10 to strike arts cost for 10 timer counts. Also gradually restores allied Otherworld Warrior health each timer count for 20 timer counts if Otherworld Warrior, then this character is a battle member. Now, look at this, and we're going to compare it to the Super Saiyan God Blue Vegeta. 50% to vanish recovery, right? That's what he has. Now, if we go down to him, he has something similar, but it's a lot better, and they did PIKKON worse, yet this guy came out so much earlier. He restores his gauge immediately, 60%. Just like I left Broly restores his gauge when the opponent switches. He restores it that moment. PIKKON gets the gauge recovery, and that gauge recovery is only good on one character, Goku. The only reason it's only good on Goku is because Goku has that equipment, it's all up to your fist, that restores Vanish Gauge. So it makes him viable in one aspect, but there's no Gokus that have Vanish Gauge recovery plus blank after something happens. Only that PIKKON has that. It's a waste. PIKKON, half of his kit is nullified if you're like Vegeta Blue, because he can't be downgraded. You can't increase his strike arts cost. Besides Vegeta Blue's red. Vegeta Blue's blue, and PIKKON's red. PIKKON is just something overestimated, I think. He could have been a lot better. Very underwhelming on release. That banner was even shit to begin with. Super Kaioken and PIKKON. But we move on. There's just one more character I want to talk about that was I anticipate to be very good. And unfortunately, they are trash beyond trash. Big Bang Vegeta from Resurrection of Cooler. Okay. So, this guy is hot ass. Let's go over his kit. Defense type, by the way. You'll spill no Saiyan blood today. Draws the ultimate arts card. Death Defying Combination next. Restores own ki by 60. Plus 30% to strike damage inflicted by allies or your buddy for 30 timer counts. That means co-op. Change own blast arts cost cards to strike arts. Z ability is Saiyan Saga for the movie. Then if you're both, you get extra strike attack. So double defenses with strike attack if you're a Saiyan Saga from the movie. Obsession with Greatness. The following effects occur when this character enters the battlefield. Plus 50% strike damage inflicted. Cannot be stacked. Randomly destroys one enemy card. Applies the following effects to self when there are 2 or fewer battle members. Plus 40% damage inflicted. Reduced damage received by 15%. Plus 30% to ultimate damage inflicted if character Goku is a battle member. You're fighting with me now. Applies the following effects to self when changing cover. Reduce damage received by 45% until combo ends. Nullifies own unfavorable element factors for 10 timer counts. Activates once. Applies the following effects to self when activated. Restores health by 10% and ki by 30. Plus 40% to damage inflicted for 20 timer counts. Reduce damage received by 20% for 20 timer counts. Cancels attribute downgrades. Activates twice. 2 problems with this Vegeta. No damage buffs. There's a 40. There's a 40. And there's a 50 if he comes in. Now, those don't scale well with, and stats matter here, these stats. 230 strike attack. That's all he's getting. He's just getting strike buffs, really. He, sadly, he's reliant on being on a Super Saiyan team. Movies, doesn't want this guy. He's just too squishy. Vegeta family, purple Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta is infinitely the character this guy is. But Super Saiyan with the Goku from this movie, Resurrection of Cooler Goku, the green one, which that's literally in the attack animation, right? In the Ultimate. He wants to be with him. I thought this Vegeta could have been something good. Like, I don't know, maybe he could have had like a cover change where he kicks Cooler and from the movie to the side and then, you know, I don't know, cover something. I don't fucking know. This guy's just ass. He just wants to be on Super Saiyans. If you get crits with him, he'll be fine. If not, he hits like a wet noodle. Yeah, that's a few underwhelming units that have come out in the recent months. Honestly, nothing besides that. Broly really is the nail in the coffin here, though. He really is bad. Like, even the EXs on these banners aren't even bad. Really, there's no EX here that I'm looking at. It's bad. And this is... Like, I pull these characters in order. They're not, like, random. Besides EX Bojack, I have all these characters when they released. So, yeah. That's what I think. Broly's shit. DKP's overrated. I'll say that till the day I die. And PIKKON, honestly, is comparable to Broly. And that's kind of scary, considering Broly is almost, I'd say, 9 months, 10 months older than PIKKON. You could actually compare their damage together, and that's kind of terrifying. But yeah, that's what I think. Let me know what you guys think. I'll see you guys in the next one.